Ted, it's crazy out there. I know you guys have been very busy with closings, and you get buyers, before they get to the closing table, they're asking you questions. And one of those questions, Ted, is, they keep getting beat out of offers. Can they put two offers together at the same time? One offer on the house they want, which is due today at 5 p.m., but the house they really want with an offer due on Friday at noon. So can they do that?
Yeah, it's my response to that question would be I think they can do it, but they really have to keep a finger on the pulse, because God forbid they have two offers that get accepted. It's a difficult time these days. You're putting in offers, you're getting rejected. Multiple counters at much more than what prices are. With all kinds of creative ways to make their offer enticing. But I would say you can just keep an eye out. So once that one first offer gets accepted, then you need to immediately pull back on the second offer, or vice versa.
Section 3 of the new updated purchase and sales agreement has a section in there that's been very confusing to a lot. And that section talks about time is of the essence. Now, normally time of the essence has to deal with, I would believe, a date or like the closing. But in there, you were explaining to me before the show, that's actually not true. It's something else. What is it?
So in this case, in Rhode Island, this is a new provision that was put in recently in the like you mentioned, the recently revised purchase and sales agreement. The initial moment that it's being referenced is, I believe, strictly limited to just the deposit noted in Section 3. So I think what happens here is the buyer is obligated to put that deposit with the listing agent within the time frame allowed by that provision in the contract. So if they don't do it in that time, I think the intention here is to say, look, you can't, if you didn't put your deposit, you signed the contract, you didn't put the deposit, then you don't have a valid agreement because you didn't live up to those terms, and that's strictly enforced.
So the next section too, which I've got questions about, Ted, is going to be Section 7B. Okay. And it talks about how the appraisal must be ordered within X number of days. Okay. Now, how would an agent fill that out for their clients? How is that enforced? And what if the appraiser does not get back to us quickly? Is this agreement void?
But I would say that if it's blank, then typically in our practice, anytime that something like that is blank, then the courts will determine what a reasonable period of time is. A reasonable period of time, I would say, is under the case law, is probably like a 10 business day time frame. Now, if it's been included, the language is there. I want to mention that nowhere in that provision does it state that time is of the essence. So, but I would say the best practice would be, if you're an agent that represents a buyer on this, you definitely want to keep an eye on it, keep in close contact with the lender, and extend if you feel that the lender's not able to order that appraisal on time.
Now, a lot of buyers are going in there and they are waiving inspections, and or they're doing this, and we use this one sometimes. Inspections are for informational purposes only. Can you explain, Ted, what exactly informational purposes only means, and what the buyer and or seller has for recourse?
When that language, informational purposes, is included, you're really waiving your inspection rights, and you're only allowed to do your inspection for determining information about the property. But that the contingency that's included in the standard purchase and sales agreement, if you're making the inspection for informational purposes only, is not a contingency anymore. I can see this as being a way to entice a seller, by saying, oh, it's just for inspectional purposes only, but then they try to get out of it if they see there's something that they don't like.
Informational purposes only is a way that buyers go in to say, hey, we're not going to nickel and dime you. That's how realtors take it. But I think it's funny that the actual legal representation is basically like you're waiving your inspections. That's interesting.